Hey y'all! This is the third screencast in a series on organic molecules and covers information on proteins. As a rule, animal products are particularly high in protein. Protein-rich foods are important in the human diet because we use the proteins from these foods to build structures within our own bodies. Basically, we take proteins from the foods that we eat, break those proteins down through digestion into much smaller components known as amino acids, and then use those amino acids to make other proteins that our bodies need. I've got listed on the slide here some of the products that our bodies are able to produce using proteins. Hormones are chemicals that are used as messengers in the body. Some hormones are lipids, as we talked about in the last screencast, but many others are actually proteins. Our body's cells have receptors on their surface, which we will talk about more in the cell chapter in class. Many of those receptors on the surface of cells are actually proteins as well. Antibodies are protein molecules that we produce to fight off microorganisms and other foreign and potentially harmful things that have entered the body. In addition, all enzymes, those molecules that speed up chemical reactions, are proteins, as are several molecules that act as transporters in the body. As an example of this, hemoglobin is a protein molecule found in red blood cells that is used to transport oxygen in the blood. Proteins are really large molecules. Basically, they consist of very long chains of smaller molecules known as amino acids that have been strung together. The string of amino acids that makes up a protein can be hundreds of amino acids long. So what then is an amino acid? An amino acid is just a type of molecule with a very specific structure. The type of structure that we see with an amino acid is represented here. Basically, all amino acids consist of a central carbon atom, which is bound to what's known as a carboxyl group represented here. That central carbon atom is also bound to an atom of hydrogen, what's known as an amine group or an amino group, which you can see right here. And then all amino acids have a fourth connection made by their carbon, which is to what's known as the R group that you can see represented right here. There are 20 different amino acids that our bodies string together to make proteins. All 20 of those amino acids have the same basic structure, a single carbon bound to a carboxyl, a hydrogen, and an amino group, and an R group. The only structural difference between those 20 different amino acids that our body uses is in the R group. If you look at this slide, or this side of the slide over here, you'll notice that I have 3 of the 20 amino acids represented. This first one is valine. You can see we've got the central carbon atom bound to a carboxyl group, bound to the amine group, bound to the hydrogen, and here is the R group of valine. Threonine is another amino acid that has that same basic general structure. We've got the carboxyl group, hydrogen, and amine group. Here's the R group for threonine, and you'll notice it's the only part of threonine that differs from valine. This is tyrosine, so again, that same basic structure that we see with all amino acids, but here's the R group for tyrosine, and you can see that it's quite a complicated molecule that's actually attached there in the place of the R group. Again, these are just visual examples of 3 of the 20 amino acids that the body strings together to make proteins. The other 17 have the same basic structure with only R groups that make them different from each other. Now that we've talked about the fact that amino acids can be strung together to make long chains, we can talk about some of the terms on this slide. A peptide is a chain of amino acids that's hooked together. More specifically, a dipeptide is 2 amino acids that are attached to each other. A tripeptide then is a molecule composed of 3 amino acids hooked together. Poly means many, so a polypeptide is a long chain that may consist of dozens of amino acids hooked together, and a protein is a very long chain of amino acids that may consist of hundreds of amino acids that are strung together. If this were a molecular biology class, we'd go into the structural differences between polypeptides and proteins, but sticking within the scope of this class, I just want you to know that both polypeptides and proteins are long chains of amino acids that have been strung together. This concludes our screencast covering proteins.